Continuing part 3, the story of the scroll, the curve. The impossible demanded of Esther. It is through Hattat that Esther learns from Mordecai what is going on. She learns about Haman's purposes and the law proclaimed by Ahasuerus. She also learns about the plea of Mordecai to dissuade the king from proclaiming the law. Just imagine what Mordecai asks for, making Ahasuerus to suspend a law, begging Ahasuerus for mercy. Can one ask a law of nature for mercy? Supposing something falls down from the 5th floor, can one pray to gravitation to abolish the fall at the 2nd floor, to suspend operating for a moment as law of gravitation? Yet this is what Mordecai asks for. For Mordecai pertains to that which snaps his fingers at natural law, when it happens to endanger anything ranging among the principles of the creation of man. Mordecai knows very well he is asking the impossible. What to this world is impossible? But Mordecai is an Ivri. Mordecai is what is related to the disclosing of the secret of the ointment, of that which the Redeemer is also anointed. One might put it like this. Mordecai purposely makes his appearance in this world in order to ask for the impossible. Esther's answer to this request of Mordecai points out the impossibility to get this request granted by Ahasuerus. One can only approach Ahasuerus when one is summoned, i.e., a law of nature has its origin in itself. One cannot, for instance, maintain in October that it is December now, and that the child that is expected in December is to be given birth as a normal child in October. One cannot say that a newly planted tree has got to be 100 years old within the scope of 1 year. Briefly, one cannot play a game with these laws of nature, whatever the plane they operate in may be. The world of phenomena would simply cease to exist. What is hidden in that world, too, can merely be preserved. If the phenomenon itself can also continue to exist. If the body is killed because it does not reckon with the existing laws of nature, for instance, in taking poison, then the neshama cannot make her appearance here through that body. These are rather striking examples. We can, however, find a variety of examples for ourselves of such acting in all sorts of ways as if there did not exist any laws of nature. Esther feels her existence endangered by this impossible request of Mordecai, and ultimately it is the side of Mordecai that takes the initiative in the world of the exile. His deed puts the very core into action too, and Mordecai's deed is demanding the impossible. For 30 days on end, Esther has not been called into the king's presence. For a whole phase, a whole month, she has not resided in the innermost heart. The last time was the 13th of Adar, the same day in a preceding phase, which now, in this phase, was to bring with it the downfall of the Jehudim. Curiously, on that very 13th of Adar, the king had indeed had contact with Esther. Again, a hidden coincidence. Ancient tradition points out that Esther was not eager to have any contact with Ahasuerus. The Esther of the other world avoids this contact. It humiliates her. In fact, it makes her impossible before Mordecai. Connection of that which is hidden with the law of nature with that harsh and foolish Ahasuerus is not what Esther strives for. She feels she is linked up with Mordecai, with that which has to do with her world. And she felt glad that for a whole phase, a whole world in fact, Ahasuerus had evidently forgotten her. And now, of her own free will, she has to offer herself, to link herself to that full Ahasuerus. Similarly, the neshama does not want to go to the earth, to that silly body ruled as it is by natural law. She had much rather stay in that other pure and true world. But the Shekinah too goes into exile, and therefore Esther too will go and in doing so awaken something which the world in fact has been created for. In this encounter with Ahasuerus, Esther merely suspects ruin and death. She has to act against the principles of natural law, which happens to be impossible with natural law. But then, that is how the neshama acts too. It is diametrically opposed to the principle of growth of the body, that suddenly the totally different should descend into it. This is how the Ivri acts too. He enters into battle with what is considered ordinary routine, normal routine, and he causes all existence to totter. As a matter of fact, according to natural law, he should be killed ever anew. The only chance not to be killed is that the king sways the golden scepter towards him that acts against natural law and touches him. Gold is placed in the first day of creation. It is the first of the 7 metals known to ancient lore. That is why gold is related to the light of the first day. It is primordial light, about which tradition says that it is immediately hidden, that it is veiled. It remains veiled until the coming of the new world. The first day of creation is also the place of the Sephirah, chesed, grace, love, favor. Primordial light is sown for the Siddiq, as it says in the Bible. It is hidden. It is like marrow and bones. It is everything hidden. When that primordial light, the grace coming from that sphere, only then, says Esther, there is a chance of my survival. But it is a slender and most improbable hope in this world of the exile. Only a miracle from heaven, a perceptible miracle, might prevent Esther's downfall in this world of Ahasuerus. And for 30 days she has not been with Ahasuerus, not for a complete phase, from every aversion or from very aversion, from feeling alien to that world of Ahasuerus. And now suddenly this request to do something with merely a chance of survival is a most improbable miracle where to take place. There is no escape. Mordecai now sends a reply, not through Hatak anymore, for the latter, as ancient lore has it, had meanwhile been killed by Haman. Mordecai again establishes the attitude of the Ivri. You have come here into this world for the very reason of doing that, the impossible, that underlies your existence in this world, just as the Shekinah and the Neshama have come into the world for it. Do not think you can escape from your mission. You will be driven towards your mission, however much you may want to resist, however much you may ask to pass that mission on to somebody else. Trying to run away from your mission does not mean you will be left alone, for in that case the forces of development will overpower you, and then you will cease to exist in this world anyway. And your mission will be carried out by somebody else. For the world, this creation has been arranged so that any way the return will be achieved. Who are to be present at it, though, is a different matter. It is a most tragic affair. Many people's downfall, even world destruction, may take place in between, yet there will be the return all the same. The Jehudai simply has got to do what in fact is impossible. He has to do the unexpected with all its consequences. That is what he has been brought into the palace for, to the very heart of all things too. That is why he stands at the gate of the king and knows about all those that go in and out. He has to act and face the consequences, and these consequences seem disastrous to him. All the same, that is exactly what he is in this world for, in this body, in any period of time. Doing things expected is acting in accordance with natural law. The Ivri, however, has to act differently, according to standards of the other side, which, here in this world, merely arouse annoyance and irritation. He has got to do it, feeling, knowing that it means his ruin, his downfall, yet he has got to do it. For in this way he acts in harmony with God. When God makes creation, he acts according to standards of another world, coming here exclusively for this purpose, namely to act according to those different standards, for it is merely in this way that this world becomes purposeful and shall reach her destiny.